Have you ever heard that the world is a battle between two forces, one good and one evil? That everything that is spirit is good and everything that is matter is bad? It may seem logical, even poetic, but what if it's just a clever lie told with complicated words? Today we will talk about one of the most dangerous and seductive heresies in the history of Christianity, Manichaeism. A doctrine that seems spiritual, but at its core completely unravels the Christian faith. And helping us in this conversation is a nearly forgotten thinker, Alexander of Lycopolis, who lived between the 3rd and 4th centuries. He wrote a short but direct text against the Manichaeans, and what he said back then, almost 2,000 years ago, still feels relevant today. The Manichaeans taught that the world was made by two eternal principles: God, who is good, and matter, which is evil. God would be light and matter, darkness. The human soul would be a spark of light trapped inside the material body. Everything visible, physical, and sensory was labeled as impure. And the purpose of life, according to them, was to free the soul from the prison of the body, of the flesh, of desire, of the world. Beautiful? Perhaps? Biblical? Not at all. Alexander begins his text with praise for true Christianity. He says Christian philosophy is simple, not superficial, but because it goes straight to what matters: character formation, the practice of piety, and teaching about God in a mysterious yet deeply truthful way. In other words, the Christian faith is not a philosophical system that invents fanciful hypotheses. It is a way of living and believing that transforms people, from the most educated to the most humble. But over time, groups like the Manichaeans emerged and began to overcomplicate things. They wanted to appear wiser than others. So they mixed ideas from Persian Zoroastrianism, Gnostic speculations, and even Greek mythologies. The result? Faith turned into theory, and theory into a maze with no exit. Mani, the founder of Manichaeism, was Persian, lived in the 3rd century, and served under King Shapur. It is said that he was executed by order of the very king he served. His first disciples were named Pappus and Thomas, and the sect grew quickly. What Mani taught was basically this: there are two principles: God, who is good, and matter, which is evil. But unlike what Plato or Aristotle called matter, Mani claimed that matter was disordered motion, chaos, pure evil. And to complicate things further, he said that God had to mix with that evil in order to defeat it. According to them, the human soul was sent by God to enter matter and purify it from within. But in doing so, the soul was also tainted. Like pure wine poured into a rotten jar, then the plan would be to gradually remove the soul, that divine spark, from the filth of matter. Until one day, all that is evil would be burned, destroyed, and the light would return to God. But then comes Alexander's question: if God is good and perfect, why would he mix with evil? How can a pure God become contaminated in order to save? And more, if matter is so evil, how did it manage to rise up to God? That goes against even ancient physics. A stone does not rise by itself. And if it does rise, it's because something pushed it. So who pushed evil upward? God? That would make him the author of evil, which is unacceptable. Alexander's critique becomes even more direct as he shows that Manichaean doctrine is self-contradictory. If evil desires good, then its desire is good. But if evil desires good, then it is no longer entirely evil. And if good is infinite, how can it be reduced or divided to mix with evil? If good is like wisdom or knowledge, then sharing it does not weaken it. On the contrary, whoever learns also becomes wise. Therefore, God would lose nothing by giving part of himself to redeem the world. Thus, the idea that he suffered by mixing with matter is incoherent. Manichaeism also has a bizarre view of the sun and the moon. They say that the soul of creatures upon dying rises to the moon, which carries it to the sun, which then delivers it to God. The moon would function as a spiritual bus and the sun as the final staircase. But Alexander shows this is astrology disguised as doctrine, and more, it is a magical, not rational vision. If that were true, the moon would fill and empty based on the number of souls, not due to sunlight. But everyone knows, even the astronomers of the time, that the moon only reflects the light of the sun. That's basic science, even for the ancients. Another strong critique Alexander makes is about the Manichaeans' contempt for flesh, sexuality, and life. They do not marry, have no children, and refuse to eat anything that has life. Only vegetables. All because they believe that bearing children would further trap the divine spark in the prison of matter. In other words, more bodies, more problems. But here Alexander calls them inconsistent. If God created the world and saw that it was good, as Genesis says, then why deny creation? Why despise the body, marriage, food, sexuality, and life? All of this was made by God. Who is wrong, the Bible or Mani? And there's more. Alexander reveals that at its core, the Manichaean view does not believe in redemption. For them, the soul is set free through suffering, death, and abstinence. In other words, dying is good, living is bad. War, plague, famine, all would be seen as good because they kill and thus free the soul. That turns evil into good, and that is where the doctrine contradicts itself and self-destructs. Because if evil produces good, then evil is necessary. And if it is necessary, it is part of God's plan. And if it is part of the plan, then it is not evil. Do you see the vicious circle? Alexander shows that true Christian faith does not require this radical division between spirit and matter. Because the problem is not in the body, but in the heart. It is not matter that separates us from God, but sin. Evil is not a substance that rivals God. Evil is the absence of good, disorder of the will, deviation from purpose. And this is not solved by fleeing the world, but by living in it with wisdom and love. For the early Christians, the body was a temple of the Holy Spirit. Jesus did not come to take us out of the world, but to teach us how to live in it differently. He himself took on a body, was born of a woman, ate, drank, wept, died, and rose again, with a glorified body. In other words, God is not repulsed by matter, he sanctifies it. That's why Alexander ends his text with a still relevant proposal. Instead of theories about what is light and darkness, how about living with character, justice, and piety? Instead of despising the world, how about sanctifying it through actions that reflect God's goodness? Faith is not an escape from reality. It is a commitment to goodness amid confusion. The great lesson in all of this is that when theology becomes fantasy, the people suffer. When faith turns into groundless philosophy, the heart grows empty. And when truth is traded for a beautiful lie, the soul is lost. Now the lingering question is, do modern versions of Manichaeism still exist today? Could it be that in the name of spirituality, many still despise God's creation? If you want to reflect more on this, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this truth. See you next time.